Stop what you are doing. If you were born before 1966, if you are 60 years old or older right now, the CPP and OAS rules that apply to your specific situation in 2026 are not the same rules that apply to everyone else. And the decisions you make or fail to make in the next several months could permanently reduce your monthly income by hundreds of dollars for the rest of your life. Not temporarily, not until you appeal. Permanently. The Canada Pension Plan and Old Age Security do not apply the same rules to everyone. Depending on the year you were born, your full benefit age is different. Your claiming options are different. The mistakes that permanently reduce your monthly deposit are different. And right now, in 2026, there are Canadians in every one of these groups who are either receiving less than they are entitled to or are about to make a decision they cannot undo, simply because nobody sat down and explained what the rules actually are for their specific situation. Today that changes. Find your group in this video. Listen to what applies to you. And by the end, you will know exactly what to check and exactly what to do. Before I get into the groups, tell me in the comments right now, what year were you born? And are you currently receiving CPP, OAS, or both? Drop your birth year and your province below, because every group I am covering today has something specific happening in 2026 that affects them directly. And your year determines everything. This channel exists for one reason: to make sure every Canadian senior receives every dollar they have earned before the window to act closes permanently. Subscribe and turn on notifications now so this information always reaches you before the deadline passes. Now let us get into the groups. Group 1, born between 1946 and 1954. You are between 72 and 80 years old. You have been receiving CPP and OAS for several years, and most people in this group assume there is nothing left to check. That assumption is costing some of you real money every single month. The first thing everyone in this group needs to confirm right now is whether the OAS age enhancement has been correctly applied to your file. In July 2022, the federal government permanently increased OAS by 10% for every Canadian aged 75 and older. That increase is not optional. It is not means tested. It applies automatically to every senior who has reached that age. The maximum OAS for seniors aged 75 and older is currently $817.36 per month. For seniors aged 65 to 74, it is $743.05. The difference is $74.31 every single month, $891.72 every year. In a meaningful number of cases, that enhancement was never correctly triggered on the senior's file. Seniors who turned 75 after July 2022 were supposed to see their deposit automatically increase. Some did not, and they have been receiving the lower amount month after month without knowing the higher amount was owed. If you are in this group and your OAS is sitting closer to $743 than to $817, that is your signal. Contact Service Canada and ask them specifically whether your age enhancement has been correctly applied to your file. If it has not been applied, the correction can be made and retroactive payments may be available for the months you were underpaid. The second thing for this group involves the CPP survivor's pension. If you lost a spouse who contributed to CPP during their working life, you may be entitled to a monthly survivor's pension on top of your own CPP. The maximum CPP survivor's pension for someone aged 65 or older in 2026 is $945.90 per month. This payment does not arrive automatically. You must apply. And here is the detail most surviving spouses have never been told. The survivor's pension is not backdated to the date of death. It begins from the date your application is approved. Every month that passes without an application is a month of survivor's pension that disappears permanently. There is also a one-time CPP death benefit of $2,500 available to the estate of a deceased CPP contributor. Many families miss this payment entirely, not because they are ineligible, but because nobody told them an application was required. If you lost a spouse and have never applied for the survivor's pension, contact Service Canada this week. The money is owed, but it will not arrive until you ask. Drop a comment right now. If you are in this group, Have you checked whether your OAS age enhancement has been correctly applied? Yes or no? Group 2, born between 1955 and 1960. You are between 66 and 71 years old. This is the most critical group in 2026 because people in this group are either making their CPP and OAS claiming decision right now or have recently made it. And the consequences of getting it wrong are permanent. Here is what most people in this group do not know. The amount of CPP you receive is permanently determined by three things: how much you contributed, how long you contributed, and the age at which you chose to start collecting. If you started CPP before age 65, your monthly amount was permanently reduced. Every month before your 65th birthday that you took, CPP reduces your payment by 0.6%. At exactly age 60, the earliest possible start date, that is a permanent 36% reduction for the rest of your life. On a CPP benefit of $1,000, a 36% reduction is $360 less every single month. Over a 20-year retirement, that is $86,400 in cumulative losses compared to waiting until 65. The CPP does not warn you about this before you claim. Service Canada processes the application. The reduced amount becomes your permanent number. If you have not yet started CPP and you are in this group, the decision you make now will follow your deposit for the rest of your life. Here are the exact numbers. Taking CPP at 60, permanent 36% reduction. Taking CPP at 62, permanent 21.6% reduction. Taking CPP at 65, full base amount. Delaying to 67, permanent 16.8% increase. Delaying to 70, permanent 42% increase above the age 65 amount. On a CPP benefit of $1,000 at age 65, waiting until 70 produces $1,420 per month permanently. Over a 20-year retirement, that difference is $101,000. The right decision depends on your health, your other income sources, and your specific financial situation. There is no single right answer. But making the decision without understanding these numbers is a gamble that cannot be undone after the application is submitted. Now for the OAS side of this group, and this is where most coverage misses a critical opportunity. If you have not yet started OAS and you are past age 65, every month you delay earns you 0.6% more permanently. 5 years of deferral to age 70 produces a permanent 36% increase on a base amount that is itself being indexed upward by quarterly adjustments every year during the deferral period. At the current maximum OAS rate of $743.05, a 36% increase produces a monthly payment of approximately $1,010. Over a 20-year retirement, that deferral decision is worth over $64,000 in additional income. And here is what almost nobody explains clearly. If you have been deferring OAS past 65 and your deferral election is not correctly recorded on your file, the enhanced amount may not begin at your chosen start date. Contact Service Canada and confirm your deferral election is properly documented before your intended start date arrives. And for anyone in this group who is past 65 and has not yet applied for OAS at all, apply immediately. Retroactive OAS payments are available for up to 11 months, but every month that passes without an application is a month of eligibility that disappears permanently. At current rates, 11 months of missed OAS is over $8,000 that cannot be recovered. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and honestly this next part is the reason this video exists. Tell me in the comments right now, if you are in this group, have you made your CPP claiming decision yet? Are you happy with when you started, or do you wish someone had explained these numbers to you before you applied? Drop your answer below. I am reading every single comment. Group 3, born between 1961 and 1965. You are between 61 and 65 years old. You have not yet reached OAS eligibility age, and CPP is either approaching or you have recently started thinking about it seriously. This is the group with the most options still available. And the most common mistake in this group is making the CPP decision too early, based on an assumption about break-even age that most people calculate incorrectly. The break-even age is the point at which the total lifetime income from waiting exceeds the total lifetime income from starting early. Most people in this group assume the break-even age is very far away, making early CPP seem like the smart choice. The actual math often surprises them. Taking CPP at 62 versus waiting until 65. The break-even age is approximately 74. If you live past 74, and the average Canadian who reaches 65 lives well into their early 80s, waiting until 65 produces more lifetime income. Taking CPP at 65 versus waiting until 70, the break-even age is approximately 83. Given that average life expectancy for a 65-year-old Canadian is currently 84 to 86 years. The mathematics of deferral are significantly more favorable than most people in this group have been told. But here is the situation specific to 2026 that people in this group need to hear right now. If your income in 2025 was lower than in previous years because you reduced your working hours, changed careers, took time off, or began transitioning toward retirement, your CPP calculation may be affected in a way that is still correctable before you claim. The CPP calculation uses your average earnings over your contributory period. Years of low or zero earnings drag that average down and reduce your eventual benefit. But there is a dropout provision, the general low earnings dropout, that automatically excludes the lowest earning years from your calculation. Up to 17% of your lowest earning months can be dropped from the calculation. There is also the child rearing dropout provision. If you took time away from work before 1994 to care for children under the age of 7, those years of low or zero earnings can be excluded from your CPP calculation entirely. This provision applies most commonly to women in this age group who stepped back from the workforce during the 1980s and early 1990s. If this applies to your history, and if it was not factored into your CPP calculation, you may be entitled to a higher monthly benefit than what Service Canada is currently projecting. Contact Service Canada and ask specifically whether the child rearing dropout provision has been reviewed for your CPP file. This question takes one phone call, and if the provision applies and was not applied, the correction can meaningfully increase your monthly CPP for the rest of your life. Group 4, born between 1966 and 1970. You are between 56 and 60 years old. You are not yet eligible for CPP at the early start date, and OAS is still years away. This group is the one with the most time to act and the most to lose by not acting now. The single most important thing every person in this group needs to do right now is check their CPP Statement of Contributions. Your CPP benefit is calculated based on earnings records that go back to your very first job. Those records came from your employers, and every year there was an opportunity for something to go wrong. A wrong number submitted, a year that got missed, a period of self-employment that was not reported correctly. Each error that goes uncorrected reduces your monthly CPP benefit when you eventually claim by approximately $100 per missed year. If you worked through the 1980s and 1990s, the era of paper payroll records, there is a real possibility your contribution history has at least 1 year that does not accurately reflect what you actually earned and contributed. The fix is straightforward, but it requires documentation, and documentation becomes significantly harder to find the longer you wait. T4 slips, old tax returns, employment records. These are easier to locate now than they will be in 15 or 20 years. Log into your My Service Canada account and open your CPP Statement of Contributions. Compare the earnings listed for every year against whatever records you have. If any year looks significantly lower than what you actually earned, file a request for correction with supporting documentation. Service Canada processes these corrections and your record is updated. Do it now while the paperwork still exists and while the correction is free. There is also a GIS awareness point specifically for people in this group who are approaching their planning years. The Guaranteed Income Supplement, available to low-income seniors who receive OAS, is one of the most valuable and most misunderstood programs in the Canadian retirement system. The maximum GIS for a single senior is $1,098.85 per month, completely tax-free. But here is the interaction most people in this group have never considered. Every dollar of CPP you receive reduces your GIS entitlement by approximately 50 cents. For a senior with lower lifetime CPP contributions, the combined CPP plus GIS picture may actually be more favorable than a higher CPP amount that reduces GIS eligibility significantly. Understanding this interaction before you make your CPP timing decision rather than after you have already locked in your claiming age is the difference between a retirement income plan and a retirement income regret. Now let me bring all four groups together with the specific actions each one needs to take right now. If you were born between 1946 and 1954, confirm your OAS age enhancement is correctly applied if you are 75 or older. If you lost a spouse, apply for the CPP survivor's pension and ask about the $2,500 death benefit. Both require applications that will not happen automatically. If you were born between 1955 and 1960, know the exact permanent consequence of your CPP claiming age in real dollar terms. Confirm your OAS deferral election is correctly documented if you are delaying past 65. Apply for OAS immediately if you are past 65 and have not yet applied. The 11-month retroactive window is the only protection against permanently lost payments. If you were born between 1961 and 1965, understand the real break-even calculation before making your CPP timing decision. Ask Service Canada specifically about the child rearing dropout provision. If you took time away from work before 1994 to care for young children, this one question could permanently increase your monthly CPP. If you were born between 1966 and 1970, open your CPP Statement of Contributions today and check it year by year against your own records. Every error you find and correct now is money that arrives in every deposit for the rest of your retirement. And understand the CPP and GIS interaction before you lock in your claiming strategy. What is the one thing from this video that surprised you most? The permanent percentage reduction on early CPP, the 11-month OAS retroactive window, the child rearing dropout provision, or the CPP and GIS interaction? Drop your birth year and your province in the comments below. I read every single one, and the situations coming in from each group will shape exactly what we cover next. And if this video helped you understand something you did not know before, hit the like button right now. 1 second. It is the only way this reaches the next Canadian who is about to make a permanent claiming decision without knowing what the numbers actually mean. The people who get this right are not luckier than you. They are not wealthier than you. They simply found out what the rules were for their specific birth year before they made the decision, rather than after. You now know the rules for your group. Make sure someone else does too. Share this with every Canadian you know who was born before 1966. This video could permanently change the amount of money they receive every single month for the rest of their life. You earned every dollar of these benefits. Make sure you receive all of them.